Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning. So I want to wish you all a very warm Duquesne welcome this morning. This is an exciting day and something that I know that this group especially has been yearning for, wanting, and worked really hard to put this together. So this is exciting because this is the first, and I believe the first annual white coat ceremony for our physical therapy department. So you guys will forever be remembered as the first, okay? Which means we'll probably also have the bugs like, where are the white coats at? Exactly. So I want to welcome everyone and our friends out in, well, I think it's YouTube, not Zoom. Usually we would say Zoom land, but out joining us, friends and family, during the live stream as well. So like I said, this is an exciting day. This is our first go-round at the white coat ceremony. So I want to first introduce our distinguished guests, our faculty and staff that are here with us today. So please, as I call your names, if you wouldn't mind standing up and being recognized here. So first we have Dr. Ann Burrows, Dr. Teresa Kreitzer. Dr. Davis is in Rome. And can we all have the tears going down our cheek for her at this point? We have Dr. Regina Harborn, Dr. Dave Kleba, Dr. Matthew Kostick, who will also be our speaker today, Dr. Greg Marchetti, Dr. Mary Marchetti cannot be with us today. We have Dr. Rob Roy Martin. And, of course, yours truly here doing the emceeing, I guess, for today. Hopefully you know me, but if you don't out there, Ben Kivlin. I'd also like to recognize Sandra Russell and Kim Regal. Like always, things like this don't get done without Herculean efforts by both of those ladies to put things together. So we're very thankful for their efforts as well. And I'd also like to extend a special warm welcome to Dean Fevzia Kinsey, who is joining us today. He arrived at 3 a.m., I believe.
Congratulations. We are extremely proud of you and all of your accomplishments. So you earned it. Congratulations. Looking forward.
Thank you. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Dr. Matt Kostick to the podium here to offer some remarks.
So Dr. Kivlin asked me to keep this under 45 minutes. And Dr. Martin agreed to pull me off if I get anywhere close to that. Okay, so welcome everyone. We're here for a white coat ceremony. In fact, the inaugural white coat ceremony for Duquesne physical therapy students. I'm honored to be a part of it. Now, some of you might ask, why have a white coat ceremony? What does this represent? What's the symbolism of this event? Well, let's start with the parts, or we will start with the parts of the coat, do a little bit of history, and then a conclusion. So the parts of the coat. You've got a name tag, a patch, and a white coat. Pretty straightforward. Start with the name tag. It's small. You have to get close to read it, so it's not really a major part of the coat. But when you are close to a person or a patient, it faces them. It identifies you as a person, an individual. You bring something to this coat, to the profession, and thus to the patient. Your name makes it personal. You bring something unique, you, to the treatment of that patient. Note again, however, that the name tag is small. It's not on your back. Your name is not written in big letters on the back like a football player. So who you are matters as an individual when you are up close with the patient. So it's a small name tag. It's humble. There's no big announcement of who you are here. It suggests that you as the individual matter really when you're delivering care to the person in front of you who can read it in that moment. Your name tag also can be removed from that coat and replaced with another. So make sure that what you bring to that coat to the patient is something that matters. Now a more permanent part of the coat. Is this the? Oh, thank you. Okay, sorry about that. I'm partially colorblind. He's saying, look at the green button. I can only see certain shades of green. I'm like, these all look the same to me. And then here, okay, sorry about that. So now for a more permanent part of the coat, the patch. PT, physical therapy. It says they're doctor of physical therapy. You're a part of a profession of healing. What about that symbol? Down there in the bottom there, the caduceus. This symbol, or actually the original version of this symbol, is thousands of years old. It goes back to the Israelites and writings of their time in the desert. 1,000 years later, the Egyptians will copy this symbol for their gods. In the Old Testament, or more properly, the Hebrew Bible, shout out to all my Old Testament followers out there, the Israelites were being afflicted by scorpions and snakes in the desert, many of them dying. They came to Moses and asked him to pray to the Lord that they might be delivered. So God tells Moses, create a bronze snake and attach it to a pole and tell the people that anyone who would look upon this snake on the pole would be healed from the snake or scorpion bites. Of course, it worked, and the people were healed. It became an important symbol and relic for the Israelites as a symbol of healing and a reminder that God had delivered them from that pandemic. Now, interestingly, many years later, they began to worship the caduceus, the symbol, instead of God. So King Hezekiah, a successor of King David, destroyed the caduceus because his people had forgotten where the power came from and because they had learned to only worship the symbol. So ironically, let this symbol be a reminder to us that it in fact is only a symbol. You, just like a physician or a pharmacist, are merely an agent of healing. The power of healing does not come for you or any healthcare provider. So again, with this part of the coat, the patch symbol is a reminder of humility. Now to the coat itself. Most often, it is associated with the medical profession, physicians and sometimes PAs, nurses, pharmacists, and physical therapists indeed. Why is a white coat associated with the medical profession? Well, up to and including the 1800s, physicians actually wore black. The main theory being that it was a serious and formal affair to see a physician, especially in those days. You probably weren't going to survive very long if you had to see a physician. But similar to meeting clergy, it was a very serious affair who also wore black at the time. By the late 1800s and early part of the 1900s, there was a shift in medical training. It was becoming more based on science. At the time, scientists wore white lab coats. Why? Well, they were cheap. No color dye was needed. And you could easily tell when they were dirty, like when you spilled some hematoxylin or eosin stain on it. Is he seriously talking about that histology class again? Yeah. I found a way to weave it in there. So at any rate, the coats, they're cheap and practical. To adopt the aura of being scientific, physicians started to wear the lab coats of scientists. Some pictures around 1890 were published of surgeons wearing these white lab coats, and the popularity spread quickly. Because so many physicians were wearing them, they became synonymous with the medical profession. Also note that these coats are a little bit short. These are not full-length coats that you guys are going to be wearing today. This length, the shorter coat, represents the role of the learner, the student, someone still in training. Indeed, some hospitals and physicians purposefully continue to wear the short white coat throughout their entire careers, representing the role of continuous learning. These clinicians acknowledge that they never reach an ultimate goal of being completely learned. They are always and continuously learning. So the coats, they are sciencey, which I like, or suggest knowledge. They are cheap or inexpensive. They're humble. They represent the role of the student learner. They symbolize the profession, not the person wearing the coat. They're not flashy. There's no big name on the back. They are, in essence, a uniform. Okay, so now why the white coat ceremony that we're here for today? Interestingly, this is a somewhat newer development. In 1989, an exasperated professor in the medical school at the University of Chicago pulled the dean aside, saying that something had to be done about the students. Actual patients were being brought in to talk to the medical students, and the patients were just pouring their hearts out to the students, who would show up, as students often do, in tattered shorts and baseball caps. This was seen as a complete lack of respect for the patients. Now, number one, the professor was taking the perspective of the patient. These clothes the students were wearing were telling the patient, my comfort and my baseball team take precedence over you and your pain. My comfort, my self-expression as a student are what's important. But putting on a healthcare uniform, a white coat, says, it's not about me. I'm only a part of a team serving a greater purpose, and that purpose at the moment is you, the patient. I'm putting aside my self-expression, my baseball cap, my tattoos, because in this moment, it's not about me. It's about you, the patient. The idea then was born to get students to dress like professionals out of respect to the patients. Now, in donning this uniform again, we see this idea of humility. It's not about me, it's about the patient and being part of a healing team or profession. But enough about humility, you say. Won't this coat make me look important? Indeed, we often revere people in uniforms. Why? What does a uniform signify? Well, it depends on the uniform, certainly, right? I would suggest that we respect uniforms in direct proportion to three things. Number one, is it hard to make the team? Number two, what is the goal of the team? Does the team have some type of noble goal to which they are working towards? And number three, what sacrifices have to be made to be a part of that team? Let's think of a couple examples. A baseball uniform scores very high on making the team, though maybe not so for the Pirates this year. But, really not so much on their goal. I mean, yeah, we'd like to see baseball games being won, but really winning baseball games is not really a very noble goal, and the personal sacrifice of being a high-paid celebrity, well, there's probably really not much sacrifice there. All right, how about a different uniform? What about the United States Marine Corps? Scores high on making the team, very high on the goal of defending our country, and the highest on personal sacrifice. Indeed, it has been said that greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Okay? So what about our white coat uniform here? I would score it pretty high on making the team. Indeed, intelligence, hard work, dedication to get to this point right now, no doubt about it. I would score it very high on the goal of restoring the physical function of a person so that they can live a full life. And the sacrifice, I would say, is certainly above average. To summarize or put this in perspective, this white coat uniform scores pretty high in respectability, but yet not as high as some. So in summary, the white coat is sciencey, it's humble, it symbolizes not self-expression, but self-repression. It symbolizes the profession of caring, for putting others first, and it will be worn by a person, you, with your humble little name tag. So as you don this white coat today, this healthcare uniform that represents hard work, dedication to a team, humility, being sciencey, and most importantly, putting the patient first, ask yourself, what will you bring to this uniform? Will you bring the knowledge that you have learned and are learning here at Duquesne? The skills you have and also will acquire in clinic, class, and lab? And will you bring the necessary humility to embrace the true intention of this ceremony. Now I know each and every one of you can do these things. Now it's up to you to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kostic. That was terrific. Appreciate your insight. With that, well, the time now has come that we can proceed into actually giving you your white coats here. So as I call your name, what I'd like you to do is come up and take center stage. I may or may not have a few embarrassing things the inner parent in me might come out to talk about you a little bit. But nonetheless, we want you to come up, get recognized, and don your freshly ironed, great work by the ironing and steaming team there to make these look very, very nice. So, now this is for your parents that are live streaming so that they can see. I didn't even call your name yet, Miriam. So, I'm just teasing you, Miriam. You can come on up. Miriam Aquila. Now, don't just stand there for a second here. So, when you have a last name that starts with A, you've got to know that you are probably in trouble, that you're going to be the first and set the example. And what stands out to me also about you is, oddly, you're first alphabetically, but you sit in the first row too, like literally right in the spit zone of lectures, and that's something that I think has continued throughout all your classes, hasn't it? So I always appreciate coming in and seeing Miriam right in the front row with a smile and ready to learn. So congratulations, Miriam. Next we have Hannah Ashoff. Now Hannah, I'm going to embarrass Hannah here. At least in some of the classes that I've had, I think I call Hannah the human answer key. Because I can be pretty sure if I've gotten rid of my test statistics. I just have to see if Anna got it right or not to determine if it was a good or bad question. But Hannah brings such great knowledge, but also just a great personality that goes with that. And I can't wait to see her blossom in her career. Thank you, Hannah. Samantha Barton. Now, Sam, do you think I might say something about your nickname that you earned in class? Is your dad watching? Okay. So Sam earned the nickname Old Man Barton because she can sometimes get a little bit cranky with things, I would say. But what Sam brings is she brings a passion. She brings this attitude to put herself out there. And she's somebody that when I look back at students that have taken every advantage of what they've been offered to do, Sam is one that always volunteers and always participating in something. And she's not always crabby. She's actually very, very pleasant, and she's part of our ambassador team. And again, I think that attitude is going to serve her so well moving forward. Sam Barton. Next, we have Kylie Battles. And Kylie actually serves as our lead student ambassador. And part of that role is to, well, what is that role? Basically organizes, like herding cats, isn't it? And Kylie, I had her in anatomy, and I asked for volunteers. And Kylie, I always thought she was a little quiet in anatomy. I get this email, and she's like, yeah, I've organized this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, you're the girl for us to be a lead ambassador. But what Kylie brings, obviously you can see the smile and that personality, but organization as well, and organizing a group. But it all comes from an inner place with her of helping others and connecting with others. And that's going to serve her really well in her career. Caroline Balone. So Caroline and I now share a very unique bond because I've actually evaluated her foot now. So Caroline, my image of Caroline is always sitting off in the front, but always off to the left there. Usually she's probably had a good 2 hours of a workout before even an 8 a.m. class. And the thing that stands out with Caroline as well is the dedication that it takes to be an athlete here at Duquesne, but then also to be in a program as demanding as physical therapy and to excel in both of those is pretty amazing. And I'm glad to see her wearing high heels because it must mean that her foot and ankle is feeling pretty good at this point. So thank you, Caroline. Next we have Mackenzie Bowman. And Mackenzie is one, again, that in class you're going to see a theme. There's a lot of you that you're quiet in class, and I don't get to see as much of that personality, but Mackenzie was one of the frequent volunteers down at the Cooper Fieldhouse when we started our sports medicine shadowing. And I got to be honest, she quite frankly blew me away with her skills and her knowledge and her ability to step right in and take care of athletes. And I just think that type of an attitude, that type of connection that she makes is really going to serve her well as she moves forward in her career as a physical therapist. Samantha Bradford. So Sam honestly stands out. I remember Sam standing out in anatomy, especially. So she's tall, blonde, beautiful, and even on this picture, Sam, your eyes always. I can just picture your eyes. I'm not trying to be creepy or anything here with this, but just these really inquisitive eyes. And I remember that from you in anatomy, that sense of discovery when we were doing dissection. And then I saw that carry through in you in the orthopedics class as well. And when we ask questions and we put somebody on the spot or put you on the spot, you always seem to have just a really great answer. So I think that natural, inquisitive nature that I believe that you possess is going to serve you so well as you move forward as a physical therapist. Next, we have Lauren Broderick. So Lauren's another one that's brave enough to sit, at least in proximity, in the front of class. And one of the things to me that really stands out about Lauren is just how smart and bright she is. And when you engage her with questions or talking on the next level with her, she really seems to, for lack of a better description, get it. And that impressed me very early on, and then she lived up to that as well whenever in ortho class when I had you there as well. So I think your smarts and your brightness is really going to carry you through terrific in a physical therapy career. Jeffrey, is it Sella? Sella, okay. So I remember Jeff, and he's he's one of those. Look, he's still smiling. He's smiling right now. Okay. When I first met Jeff at the orientation, I just immediately thought that, man, this is a kid that really has the personality to be a physical therapist, and he really looks the part, acts the part. And he's got it upstairs as well to do well with the part as well. So in a class, really, if you look around, only a handful of males in this class. So he oftentimes also is an example of somebody with a little more meat on the bones to be able to be a lab demonstrator as well. But I think. Much like my career has been marked with a lot of fresh-baked cookies from patients, I think Jeff's attitude and his personality is going to earn him quite a bit of cookies, and hopefully he does a better job than I do with managing that. So thank you, Jeff. Brianna Cotter. So Brianna was also someone that came down to Cooper Fieldhouse quite a bit with me, and it was enlightening to be able to get to know her a little bit more because, again, I think she's one of the more quiet ones in class at times. And, again, somebody that I didn't know you had so many answers in that noggin of yours there, Brianna, and she did a really nice job working with the student athletes down at Cooper Fieldhouse, and I think she's going to carry both the smarts and that ability to interact with people to be a really terrific physical therapist down the road. Ashley Enderly. Now, Ashley sits in the back corner on the right, as far away as she possibly can get from me. But one of the things is, as I've gotten to know Ashley a little bit more, is I see somebody that is really evolving. And I got to spend a little more time with Ashley this particular semester, and going over to that back corner and engaging her, you're like almost like a little bit of an onion there, Ashley. I think we can peel back some layers of you, and I really am excited to see you continue to evolve because I think this semester you were able to show some of that evolution. I can't wait for you to answer all the questions in class and put your hand up all the time in this next semester. But I'm proud of where you've gone and looking forward to where you're going in the future. Next, we have Caitlin Farrell. And Caitlin to me is one of the personalities in the class that just people want to be around her. She really has that kind of magnetic type of personality and is really engaging with others. And those of us faculty that are physical therapists, I think we can all agree how important that piece is. And not only does she carry that, but she carries the smarts to go with it. And I think she's going to take that magnetic energy and just really blossom as a physical therapist down the road. So thank you, Caitlin. Ben Gurion. Now, with a first name like that, he is destined for greatness, I would say. This is really hard to say because Ben's a Ravens fan. So I have to say a couple nice things about him. But one of the things, if you get to know Ben, is that he has this drive and this desire to really be great. And not only be great, but be great to others. And that's a big piece of it as well. So it's been honestly a pleasure to get to know Ben and his personality and his wild hair. And it's really good to see him whenever the Steelers beat the Ravens on Monday. But this is an individual that I think has a lot of inner drive to be great, but be great to others. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in his career as a PT. Cassidy Hearn. So Cassidy, she's another one of those little quiet ones for the most part in class. And then when you put her on the spot to answer a question, you're like, whoa, okay, she's got it. And the thing that stands out to me with Cassidy is almost a quiet confidence about you, Cassidy, that and you're saying, I'm not confident at all, but but I can see that with you, and I can see that with you as you're practicing your skills, and it's really a nice evolution of that quiet confidence that you're evolving, that I think is going to serve you very well on your upcoming clinicals, but also throughout your career. So don't lose that. So thank you. Next, we have Hannah Hildebrand. So Hannah's another one that just has just such a nice smile and nice personality about her. She actually reminds me a little bit of my oldest daughter, and that's a compliment. And this voice and such that just kind of reminds me of Snow White or something like that. I don't know, but something just so sweet about her. And I think I mentioned this to you during one of the practicals or matric or something like that, that she just has a nice way to interact with someone and to connect with somebody. And I think, again, that's such an important piece of being a successful physical therapist. So I'm excited to see you take that sweet as pie personality and really blossom into a terrific PT. Cecilia. Oh, no, wait. Oh, my gosh, I skipped Kat. Catherine Holtz. What can I say about Kat? No, yes. Kat is one of those students that stands out for her drive, her personality, her passion that she brings to everything. So I always know that I'm in for a good discussion whenever Kat says or emails me, can I have a few minutes to talk with you? So, and Kat has taken that passion and that energy that she has and really puts it towards the good of others. And she initiated the Canes for Change, am I saying that right? Charity. And she's always got something that she's looking forward to or looking to progress or make better. And I just think that that's going to be something that follows her whole entire career, that she's always going to be pushing for something bigger and better, not for herself, but for others, which is really commendable. So I look up to her for her passion to do that. So, Catherine Holtz. Now we have Cecilia. I'm sorry. Cecilia Howell. One of the things about Cecilia, again, she's kind of quiet in class. She's funny. I got to see little pieces of her personality come out this past semester and recently. And you cracked me up, actually, a little bit there, Cecilia. But in such a nice and pleasant way. And again, you're someone that I think that you ask questions to, and you're a little more on the quiet side, but you get, wow, okay, that was a good answer. And then you bring the funny component to it, and that personality comes out. And I just think you're like Jeff, you're going to get a lot of cookies probably your way or something, a lot of thank you cards, just with your ability to be a person to interact with. So I'm looking forward to seeing that continue to evolve. Lillian Shao. And Lillian's another one, her partner in crime with Ashley in the back corner, trying to stay as far away as she possibly can. But Lillian as well has shown me, as I've gotten to know her a little bit more, that there's a lot of depth to her as well. And really a smart young lady that whenever she does use that voice, has a lot of really great things to say. And I really have been pleased to be able to come to that back corner and talk to you a little bit more and find out a little bit more about you. So I want to continue to see you grow and blossom and use that voice with, again, some quiet confidence that you're developing to be a great PT. Thank you, Lorraine. Next, we have Sarah June. And Sarah, she is so polite and smart, and she's even polite when she corrects me. And I think Sarah's one of the first ones, if I screw something up in an email or say something wrong, she's one of the first to notice. So it shows you that she's a detailed person. But she doesn't do it in a way that makes me feel too bad about myself or in a condescending type of way. So one of the things that strikes me is the questions even that Sarah asks are really getting to that higher level of understanding. So I'm really excited to see you continue to evolve that and always keep that politeness and professionalism that you have, because I think it's going to serve you very well. Next we have Sarah Kedziora. Okay. I didn't practice these this time. I thought I was overconfident. So one of the things with Sarah coming in during the pandemic as well is Sarah is one of those that you can actually feel and see her smile through her mask. And let me tell you, and the faculty can vouch for me with this, when you're sitting up and lecturing and you look out and you see Ben slobbering in oh, sorry, Ben. Okay, people nodding off, not looking like they're paying attention. And then you see Sarah, and you can see the smile through the mask. And again, similar to Sam, with the eyes that look like they're engaged and interested in what you're talking about. And that personality, whether she's got the mask on or not, that personality really shines through with her. And I think she's another one from this class that is just going to be so loved by her patients, because she's going to be able to connect with them on such a personal level so easily. So I hope you continue to use that as your strength. Emily Krieger. So Emily, when I think of Emily, I think of just pure heart. She is someone that no matter what the task, what you're dealing with, she gives 110% all the time to everything. Even when she borrowed a T-shirt from me, or maybe stole a T-shirt from me from AWOC recently, because what was that T-shirt from anyway? Okay, I'll make a donation. But she puts 110% into absolutely everything that she does, even the little things. And I'm so proud of her accomplishments, and can't wait to see how she grows into a physical therapist with that attitude. Corinne Madigan. So this is another young lady that what I remember about Corinne is asking questions, but already knowing the answer. And so she has, again, kind of like this quiet confidence about her that I've seen evolving over the past year compared to where we were with anatomy. And I think that her smarts and her ability to put herself out there to ask a question, but also have the self-assurance to know that she knows the answer already, is something that's going to continue to be very, very fruitful in her career. So I'm excited to see that confidence grow even more with you, especially out on your clinical rotations, because I think you're really going to take a lot from that. So, Corinne. Nathan Milanic. Now, I wasn't sure. Oh, that's not your picture. There we go. I wasn't sure Nathan had vocal cords when I first met him in anatomy. And the thing in getting to know him a bit more, if you start to get to know him, he really, really, really cares about what he's doing. And he cares about others, to help others in their career and throughout. I think he'll do that throughout his career as well. So it struck me in getting to know you a little bit more, just how deeply you want to be a PT, and you want to use your skills and your knowledge that you're gaining to help others. So I don't know that everybody else knows that about you, but I got to know that about you and getting to know you a little bit more, and I hope you continue that as you move through your career. Next, we have Jenna Palco. And Jenna, again, this group on that left side of the room, at least standing, always tends to be a little bit quiet. And then you get them in a practical type of a situation or a matriculation type of situation. And Jenna, who doesn't say much in class, really struck me with her ability to just have this calming presence. And when you're with a patient, to have somebody that has, I think calming also exudes some confidence, but just that ability to make you feel like, okay, everything's going to be okay. And I think you have that natural knack to be able to do that. The way your mannerisms, the way that you interact with people, it's really very, very professional, but also very calming in a way that I think is going to serve you very, very well moving forward. So, thank you, Jenna. And next we have Lisa Palco. Oh, I'm sorry. And you can see that picture did change a little bit. So the thing that strikes me about Lisa is just how welcoming. And so when I've got to know Lisa, again, similar to her sister, go figure, very quiet, but very welcoming in the way that she interacts. And I think she's going to have a nice career, again, making that connection with people and giving them that feeling like, I'm here to serve you. And I've picked up on that, and it must be also in the genetics there of the Mr. and Mrs. Palco. Are they watching today? Okay, they've done a good job. We are blessed to have not just one, but two of your products of DNA here that are so similar, but also so individually fantastic as well. So I can't think of a better group to have double the trouble and the pleasure of having in our class. So, Lisa. Next, we have Jamie Palmieri. And Jamie, one of the things that's struck me with, well, first of all, she might get the award for the biggest change from the picture. Yeah. But one of the things in getting to work with you was, if you've worked with Jamie, you know she's got tiny hands. Can you show us your hands? Go ahead. But let me tell you, she packs a little punch in those hands. And so one of the things that I really felt that you evolved with in this past semester, especially I got to see, is almost that authority type and that power that you have within those tiny hands and body that you have. And I really think that you're going to use, maybe some leverage, but also that personality of yours to be able to impact people's lives in a very, very big way. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. So. Next, we have Rachel Parshall. And Rachel, she'll be giving us some remarks here shortly, but she's a leader that frankly I think a lot of us can look up to. She always exudes a positive energy whenever, whether it's with a prospective student or within a classroom. She always brings an energy, and I love her willingness to put herself out there and her willingness to fail, even though she doesn't fail. But she has that willingness, and I really hope that you continue to use that because it's going to serve you well. And I can see you continuing as a leader in our field of physical therapy. Oops. Next, we have Shannon Paul. And Shannon in anatomy, I thought she was really quiet. And then I started asking questions in ortho, and she just answers everything and has a good understanding. But then also, I think you might have won the award for the most down at Cooper Fieldhouse. So what's great to see with Shannon is how she's taken what she's learning and applying that and taking advantage of the opportunities to learn. And what I really look up to Shannon for as well is her willingness to put herself out there and to challenge herself. And I've seen that out of you, especially this past semester. So I'm looking forward to seeing you continue to grow from that. Samantha Quilty. So she might have inherited the title Old Man Quilty then at the end. But Sam brings a passion and a powerful voice of the class as well. And that's a good thing. She, I like to think of her as a little bit of the barometer of the class. I can go to Sam and get a good understanding of what the class is thinking, how things are going, not just with classes, but just in general, the mood, the attitudes of the class. And I think that takes somebody who is confident, that takes somebody who's also very, again, polite and professional in the way that she interacts. But I think that also shows some natural leadership qualities of the person. And I'm anxious to see just where your career will take you with that type of gumption that you have and that passion that you have. I think it's going to serve you and our profession very well. Next, we have Emily Russell. And Emily was another one that I didn't think talked a whole lot, kind of quiet. But as you get to know Emily, she is one of the most thoughtful and kind students. No? You say thoughtful and kind students that I've encountered. And anyone that possesses those two qualities, that combines that with also the know-how and the willingness to learn, I think is going to really have a promising career. So you're off to a good start there, Emily, in showing your kindness and your thoughtfulness to others, and I think you're going to be a great PT because of those qualities. Allison Schaefer. So Allie to me is like this little ball of energy. I think anywhere that Allie goes, she's brightening up a room. She's bringing that energy. And I can just see her in a physical therapy clinic doing the same thing, bringing up the mood of the patients that are having a hard time, bringing up the mood of her coworkers that maybe are feeling a little overworked or don't want to do the paperwork anymore. I think she's the type of personality that will attract a lot of positivity in her direction, and I think it's going to serve her really, really well in her career. Keep that energy. Nathaniel Treziak. So again, as one of the few males in the class, he was someone that we could utilize to give an example of some meat on the bones in a nice, healthy way. But what I learned about Nate is he's like a teddy bear, and he's just like this in a manly kind of way, a manly kind of way. But he's got this this inner light, this kindness about him that even though he's kind of quiet, he's just someone that I think you could just want to give a hug to, and that's a good quality. And I think similar to Jeff, careful that because you'll probably earn yourself a lot of cookies in your day. So do a better job than I have in managing this. Thank you. Samantha Vahue. I'm sorry. I really should know this by now. So Sam's another one that you can see the smile behind the mask, too. So she kind of sits up close enough, too, that she was always a good barometer for having a positive energy and having some positive feedback whenever you're lecturing in class. The other thing that I remember, Sam, with you is frankly, whenever we were doing scap mobs and shoulder mobilizations, just this really nice ability to interact with the patient, but interact, well, it was a student, I guess, at that point, but to be able to interact in a way that was very professional, but almost very seasoned. It actually, I remember it very distinctly, that I think you have a natural knack with your hands, and you combine that with that smile and the heart that you have. I think that's a great combination to be starting a career as a physical therapist. Alexis Wessner. Now, what I recall about Alexis, especially this past year in class, is Alexis would always try to tell me all the things that she doesn't know. And she didn't realize that she was telling me that she knew everything by telling me everything that she said that she didn't know. And what was really fun to see in working with Alexis is when she got it and that light bulb goes off and that confidence was coming out, she just has this brightness about her whenever she was succeeding. So I want to give her a little extra shot of confidence for her as she goes out on her clinical rotation, because she can be fantastic. And I want her to continue to believe in herself, that she's got really great things to offer. So remember that on your clinical rotations. Next, we have Charity Wong. And I remember Charity from back in anatomy, and actually seeing Charity all over campus. And just like that picture shows right there, that's Charity right there. That smile and that attitude, it's nonstop. And what's beautiful about that smile is how genuine it is. So anyone that knows Charity knows that smile's not just some front. "Oh, hi, everybody." That is coming from deep inside her, and she is every bit as brilliant as that smile shows. And she really, I think, is going to have a terrific career just because she knows how to smile and how to smile at people and make really everybody around her feel good. And so I know she's not going to lose that because I've seen it all around campus. Through this, yes. And in our office, when you work in our office, too. Brady Young. One of the things that stands out to me about Brady is just this courage to be 100% himself. And I think you guys know Brady. Well, he's the one that courageous enough to work with Dr. Marchetti and do that really terrific speech he did for Unity Week, or that presentation that you guys worked on. In the classroom, putting himself out there. His passions and his direction and where he wants to take his career. He's got a very clear goal ahead of him. And again, it's something that puts himself behind others. And I really think that takes such a courageous person to be able to do that and be so self-assured, but self-assured in a way that really benefits others. So I really look up to you for that, Brady, and I think you're going to have a terrific career ahead of you with that type of personality and attitude that you bring. And last, but certainly not least, we have Anna Zoliak. And Anna is another one of those kind of quiet ones in class. But I can always count on Anna to have the right answer. So if I put her on the spot, I know that I'm going to get the right answer, and I'm hoping the rest of the class is listening at the same time because she brings such a deep knowledge. She's shown that she can excel really in the academic part of physical therapy. But what's been really nice is to see her start to blend that in with the clinical piece. And she's really shown that she has the intellect, but also the physical and personality attributes to put it all together to help others. So I'm really excited to see where your career takes you with those skills and characteristics that you have. So I think I've probably babbled long enough, and I'd like to go ahead and welcome Rachel Parshall up for a few remarks from our students.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. I really cannot believe that we're actually here and gathered celebrating the receival of these white coats. This journey was no easy feat, but with the help of our incredible professors listening to us, our thoughts, our opinions, and helping make this dream a reality, we're finally here. So last fall, a few of us were chatting at an open house, and it was brought to my attention that students for clinical rotations were buying white coats off of Amazon and like drop shipping websites, and they looked cheap and didn't look good. They didn't feel confident in them. And after discussing how other universities go about giving white coats to their students and how beautiful they were, their patches, name tags, everything, we figured it was a good time to bring this topic to the attention of Dr. Kivlin. We researched for days. We drafted a proposal. We received input from almost 100 students that were all pretty much on the same page as us, and we got the ball rolling. The most difficult part was explaining why. Why do we need coats that might not even see the light of day for years, if at all? Why purchase something that only 3 to 4 students in our entire cohort might be using out at clinical? Well, after our wonderful remarks from Dr. Kostek, the symbolism behind the coat couldn't be clearer. It is the meaning behind them. It's the motivation to continue to push through and strive for greatness in this incredibly difficult program. It's about professionalism and continuing to learn why beyond the classroom. There's not just one profession that earns a white coat, as we know. There are many professions that wear them, and physical therapy is definitely one of them. Some students have already worn them to shadow at different locations, and some, including myself, I was lucky enough to have worn it as I presented my research. It felt incredible and so empowering, and, I lost my spot, to be wearing the coat. And I hope that each and every one of you someday will be able to wear this either in an evaluation with a patient, presenting research, in a journal club. Every one of you deserves to wear this alongside your interprofessional team. Now onto the details of acquiring them. So after months of emailing with our sales representative, formulating the design of the patch, location of the patch, name tag details like student physical therapist or physical therapy student, sizing, organizing payment with my wonderful executive board, everything in between, even talking at lab meetings about it a little bit, they were finally ordered. Once they were delivered, though, they sat patiently in the living room of my apartment for a few months, and they acquired a few wrinkles, to say the least. So last week, though, a few incredible helpers offered their supplies and time and stayed after NeuroLab to steam and iron these. We called it Rango's Laundromat and Dry Cleaning, something along those lines. And we had a ball all morning. Your efforts are greatly appreciated, and they turned out wonderfully. I have to say so myself. So finally, I have many thank yous to give. Thank you, Dr. Kivlin, for letting me share these remarks and hearing our opinions and really listening to our thoughts and signing off on all the details, of course. Thank you to all of the professors who helped along the way and really saw our vision as well through this process. Thank you to my classmates who you all stood beside me in this.
So I'd like to just conclude our white coat ceremony with a moment of prayer. So if you bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather and celebrate together. We thank you for your presence as these students have grown their knowledge and skills while here at Duquesne. We thank you for their desire to make themselves better so that they may take this knowledge and skill and use it to help others. We ask that you continue to guide their minds and their hands as they do their healing work you have called them to do. We ask that you fuel their passion to help others in their endless quest for knowledge. We ask that you protect them from harm and allow them to bravely tackle the challenges that lie ahead. Lord, bless them and keep them close to you as they go on to serve you by serving others. In your name we pray. Amen. And that concludes our formal portion of our white coat ceremony. So we'll invite you all for refreshments and goodies in the back that have been organized. Thank you, everyone.